want to talk to you today a little bit about landslides on the Highlands Highway. One particular landslide. A whole story attached to this. You're with Mission Alive. This is Roger from MSC Mission Office. The Highlands Highway, which runs up from Lae down on the coast up to a number of provinces, right through to Mendi and Wabag. And one particular area of it is very unstable and there's a lot of landslides. That's another story. I want to talk particularly about some events that were happening in Papua New Guinea. Now we talk here of Pope Francis now calling a synod, which will begin next month and go for 3 years. The Australian Church has had a plenary, which is a type of synod, same sort of process, where it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom for community discussions in parishes, dioceses, and then the results make their way up to the top again and should produce some good results. We, in fact, in Papua New Guinea have had about 3 of these. Prior to independence of Papua New Guinea, there was the self-study in 72 to 73, 74, which was that process that certain questions and topics were sent right down to the parish, community level, and then bubbled up to the top again. And then in 2000, we had a General Assembly of the Church in Papua New Guinea, which was over a 2-year process. And then in 2013-14, we had a General Assembly of the Church in Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands, which is the conference. And I was asked and accepted to be the facilitator of that. We had, the assembly was to be every diocese to send 6 people: bishop, a priest, a religious, a layman and a laywoman, and a youth, either male or female. So that was quite a number of people. Plus you had others from the Catholic Bishops' Conference and others because of their office or their work, and the team that I was working with. So there was something like 150, 160 people. Now, before we get to that assembly, the diocese up in the Highlands, which were Wabag in Enga Province, Mendi in Southern Highlands, Hagen Archdiocese in Western Highlands, Kundiao Diocese in Chimbu, and Goroka in Eastern Highlands. They decided they would travel to Goroka, where there was a conference centre, and have at least one day prior to the General Assembly to discuss their issues and what they needed to discuss. But on the way down towards Goroka, they ran into a landslide. That was 4 of the dioceses out of 5. Goroka was on the lay side of the landslide, all the others were on the other side. And so one alternative was simply to send their vehicles home and walk across the landslide and pick up a passenger motor vehicle or PMV on the other side and make their way to Goroka. However, the people there said, no, you can't go across, because under that landslide there are people buried and you can't walk across there until we retrieve the bodies. So the alternative was to go down below the landslide or go above the landslide. But both those routes, one was, I think down below was not negotiable, and the one above, there were too many rascals or criminals waiting there to hold up people, opportunists. So the decision was to go back to Mount Hagen, reorganise themselves, reduce the number of their representatives, and to fly down, which they did. So they came down a day or 2 late with less numbers. This is part of what we try to fulfil, the mission. All kinds of things can interrupt us. As at the moment, many things in the Australian Church and churches all around the world are interrupted by this pandemic. But we're finding ways around it. We are awfully resilient human beings, and in the church we are just as resilient to find new ways and new ways ahead. And when this pandemic is finished, we will be different. We will have changed and we will have found new ways. So we persevere. Thank you for being with Mission Alive today.